our kids batch for sketching. So let us continue with our. In the meantime, I have completed this face. My kids have already done the body part as well. So I am trying to match their speed and to do the later uh, part of it. I wanted to record it so that if in case any kids want to have it, so we can give it to them. And of course my online subscriber will also get benefit of it. So I am using 4B, 7B and 10B here, these three pencils. I keep on looking at the reference every time I do. For example, here I am working on my hand, so I see that there is a little shading, so I will be using 4B. There is little more shading here and here, then we have a highlight here. So let us do it. So my hand is already sketched, so I will be using 4B first. So holding the pencil from the back will give the lighter shade here. You can also use blender to blend it, but I don't want to blend in this portrait. I want to make it more raw. So we need to control our hand and give as light shade as possible. Of course, little darker in these two fingers, in the lower part of these fingers. And light, little bit more shading here. So when we give the gradient effect in our shading, what is gradient? Means we are going from darker to lighter, lighter, lighter and lightest. So we always use lighter pencil first, on top of it the darker, and then the darkest one. So for example, I have used 4B till now, blended little bit, and then I am using 7B here. You can use 6B or 8B, whichever you feel like. And then now covering the same area where I gave 4B shading. Now I will outline it with my 7B first. And we see that there is some more shading here which we are supposed to give. I'm going a little faster, I should slow down. So our paper is having the grains, so when we shade, it implies that we are filling up that grains with graphite, right? So that's what we are supposed to do here as well. So I have covered this up first with my 4B. Now I am using my 7B on top of it, and then I will outline it with 10B. Okay, little depth here, and then the thumb area. Okay, so now in order to give the highlights, if you see there is a little highlight here. So for that highlight, first we will make sure this is little dark enough to show the highlight. Okay, now we will take our eraser. We make sure that the tip is sharp enough. If it is not sharp, we will use our sandpaper. We can also use our cutter to cut it and make it sharp enough, and then we will give that highlight like this. So I need to redo it because it is very small area and my eraser was not that small. Okay, so I need to give it one more time. I'll put it like this, holding my eraser 90 degree and try to give the sharp highlight here. Now you see that highlight here, so that has now come very nicely. Okay, now I will continue with the with my necklaces and the little shading here as well. Okay. So let us create these ornaments first. So for the ornaments we are using directly 10B pencil. Okay, so this much is done. Now I will cover up this area first and then we'll move to the right side. So let us first cover up this area. Here we have the armpit, which is completely shadowed. And the chest and stomach separation, which is completely filled. So I am directly using my 10B with a very light hand. I am not applying any pressure, just filling it up without applying any pressure. Okay, and then this area between the legs and the hand, this is also quite shadowed. So here also I am applying directly 10B without any pressure. I am not putting any pressure here. So in my Of course we can apply a little bit of pressure as and when needed, but since we have the darker pencils, right, so we are not supposed to use more pressure with the shading pencils. So if we want to have even more darker effect, we can switch to a little more darker pencil instead of applying more pressure. Preference is not to apply pressure. Okay, so now um, in this area, here we have little shading. First I will be using 4B. So I will do it upside down. It will be easier for me because the gradient effect goes like this only. Okay, and now I will be using 7B. And then 10B to give that outline. Okay, now since I'm using a 10B for outlining and it is the soft pencil, so every time we need to sharpen it up. Okay, so there will be, yes, here. So this is done. Now we will move to the right side. Yeah, one more thing here. Since this negative area, it is also little shadowed. Yeah, so I will make this outline little more thicker. Directly with 10B, not using any other pencil.
Yes.
So there is little highlight here of the background, creating that with my pencil eraser. Okay. Alright, so now it is visible. Now let's move to the right side of it. Again using 10B directly for the outlining. Okay, we have little shadow effect here that we will be doing, and it is going till here. So for the shadow I will be using 4B. This is 4B for the shadow. And then it will go like this. So let us finish up with the ornaments here, these necklaces, after the shadow area. Okay, let's give this little more darker shadow with 7B. Okay. Alright, and then we will go on with the with 10B. I will complete these necklaces. So when we work on the fine lines, we make sure that we have our 10B is sharp enough, otherwise it will not give these sharp lines, because it is a soft graphite pencil, and after a little bit of use only it turns out or it turns very blunt. Okay, so make it, every time we use it we need to make it sharper. Alright, so these necklaces are done. Now little bit shadow area is there, so we'll make it more darker using my 10B. So I'm keeping this extra paper below my hand every time I do the shading, because if you see my hand, it is having graphite here, right? So if I place my hand on top of the face or anywhere where, then there will be a smudge effect come, and which I don't want in my drawing. So I need to make sure that my hand, if it is dirty, it is not touching up the places where I don't want to have the shading. So that's why it is important to keep any rough paper, you are not necessarily the tracing paper, but any rough paper is okay. Use of tracing paper generally is what I prefer, because it do not restrict the hand movement, but for the starting, for practicing, it is completely okay to use any paper. Even the newspaper can also be used. Okay, so now this hand part is done. We will be working on the right side of the hand now. So let us give a little outline here first. So this is actually my hand, and then we have this negative area which is quite shadowed. So let us fill this directly with a 10B. Then we will cover up this part as well. I forgot to do it while working on the ornaments, but let's do it this first now. Okay, and then we need to shade the hand part. So first again 4B, making sure you have something below your hand. So starting with 4B to give that gradient effect. The hand, this is very simple shading. We will go with 4B, and then halfway to as we move towards this side, so we start reducing the pressure, then this gradient effect will automatically come. So we have darker shade here and lighter as we are moving towards the center. So it is dark to light effect that we wanted to have. Then with my finger I am little bit blending so that it covers up the complete hand. Now with the help of 7B, we'll give the only at the outer edge near the outline. And similarly here. And then with 10B, completely outline one more time without any pressure. Again, we don't need to apply pressure while working with the shading pencil. At some places we can do so, but generally it is not needed. Okay, then we have this ornament here. Which we are supposed to work. Okay, so this one is done, and now this part. Again, I'm sharpening up my 10B. So I'm using directly 10B here. Okay, so this much is done. This ornaments. Now what we are left with, to have that shading at the gradient effect at the stomach region. So for that we will do it upside down, and with the 4B we will start. So we will start with the gradient effect. Here again we will have the highlights. So first we will give the shading with the gradient of 4B. So we need to keep the direction same as the if it is a semicircular direction, so we will keep it same, and we will reach this navel point with our 4B shading. And what would be the type of shading? It would be dark to light. So we have started with the darker effect, and now we are moving towards the navel region with the as light as possible by reducing the pressure from our hand, and we'll keep on reducing it by, and we will reach till the navel region. You can see the gradient effect already with my 4B. We will darken it up with my 7B and 10B. The same effect we will give in this region. Okay, and here as well. So it is dark to light. We will give 7B, similar kind of effect, dark to light. This side. So this is my dark to light shading with 7B. Now I will be outlining it with my 10B, which will be the final one towards shading, and later on I will give the highlights with the eraser. So again 10B. So as you see, my hands already have a graphite in it. So if I will keep my hand unconsciously here and there, it will smudge the complete drawing. So I need to be very careful with my hand while working with graphite and charcoal. It is 10B. If you have any questions, you can write it down on the comments. After the live also, if you look at this video, it is completely okay. Okay, so now it's time for the highlight. So we need to be very careful while giving highlights. My pens, my rubber, my razor should be sharp enough. If it is not sharp, as I told earlier also, we can use our sandpaper to sharpen it up. So this is my sandpaper. We can sharpen with my razor to have this pointed edge. This is Mono Zero eraser. It is one of my favorite brand. And then I will hold my eraser 90° and give that highlight here at the bottom of the stomach. It is still not that as sharp, so I will try to erase the shading from inside the highlight area that I tried to create it. Okay, this time it is much better. So now a little bit of a smudging towards the navel region with my finger, so that it will not look like not shaded part. So this much is done. Now it's the clothing part is left, and there is also a very dark shadowed area here. So I will give that shadow directly with my 10B first. And then we'll work on this clothing. Okay. Oh, not to work on this clothing first before my hand is left. Sorry, I forgot about it. So we will first cover up the hand. So let me outline it for the visibility first. Okay, so here I will be using my 4B first because it's a very dark shadowed area, so we need to fill up everything here. And this area needs to be only at the bottom. Alright, so now with my 7B I will give more shading as and wherever needed. It was very simple shading in the hand, don't have to worry much. Okay, and then this area. So first let us do it with 4B. The lighter first is more easier to remove if something went wrong, and also give a better outline for the design. And this outer area. Okay, so now we will start shading it. I am using 7B, so I will keep on outlining it and also keep on shading wherever needed. So very careful, it is dark to light effect here. In this area. So little shadowed towards the right. And shadow here. Then we have our outline here, and then the darker area. So I don't think we will be needing 810B here to cover up, and this shading is sufficient enough. Okay, so we have done this color part as well. Now we are back to the clothing part. Clothing part very easy, so let's move on with 4B. Okay, so what we are supposed to do, so only at the outer range we need to go similar to like here, dark to light shade. So we'll give dark to light shade to this area. So I'm using 4B for this dark to light shade, and then we'll jump up to 7B, 10B with this. But first, to give that dark to light effect, here. Okay. So between the folds we have shading, so I am using 4B here for this shading. Okay. To make it simple, let's fill almost all the area. And now we will be using 7B here to give that gradient effect. Okay, so now very important, when we move up here towards this folds, so we need to be careful, and we will also give highlights here. Okay, so first thing first, when we have this kind of shading, so it is also dark to light, so I am using 7B only. So here the dark to light effect will go like this between the folds, so it will be dark from here, and as we move this side, so it will be lighter. Similarly here as well, still 7B in my hand. Like this. Okay, then we will be using 10B to darken this area, and of course to outline this. And these areas as well. Dark to light effect from the fold. And then we will be using our eraser, our pencil eraser, to create those highlights. Okay, blending it little bit with my finger, and then again to get the highlights wherever the smudge has reached and we don't want it to. So this way my this side of the dhoti is ready. Now I will work on this area. So I have very darker area between my where the dhoti is finishing and from where the foot is starting. So I am filling it up with 10B directly. Okay, so I will be using 4B for the shading, starting with 4B. Okay, so I did little more mistake while creating these fingers. They are more curved. I will try to make it curved now, but it has to be done while sketching time only. It is okay for now. Okay, so this part is also done. I can also give 7B shading here little bit, though it is not there. Okay, now this part of the cloth is left. Let us work on it as well. Okay, so here we see that there is a shadow of the hand that has to be created. So we will create it with 10B. This is my 10B shadow, and then again back to 4B, creating these folds. Okay, now 4B, sorry, 4B again, the shading from bottom to up. Visible, in the same direction as of the shape. Again reminding to keep something below your hand. You see my hand is full of graphite, so if I will place it somewhere, it will smudge that area. Although you see there is already some smudging has done, we will erase it later. But let us first work out the base shading, which is with 4B dark to light. Now we will do the similar kind of activity with my 7B. Okay. Okay, and then 10B to outline it. I forgot to outline this area. I will do it now. Okay, so I will be using 10B to highlight, to darken these folds. And little bit smudging here. Okay, so now with the help of 10B I will give this shading. Every fold will go dark to light. Alright. Okay, and then we will give highlights around every fold. To clean this up. Alright, so we are almost done, only the shadow part is remaining here at the bottom. So let us first clean this area with the eraser. Let me find out my eraser. I kept it. Okay. So let me first clean this area before I go with my 10 shading. So this is the last part of it. I will outline this with 10B, which I forgot to do. So I am working on the ground shading with 10B directly. Okay. Okay, with this shadow, our Ganesha is done.